don't know. So let's reconnect. If I don't stay, why don't you give me a call? Okay. Sounds great. Yeah.
But I love the silence. That is one.
That's more really.
Exactly. Yes.
Well, conduct for that reason.
In there. Absolutely.
Timer on. We need that. Okay. Can you go get a battery and then we'll get Scott or somebody to put that up? We're gonna need that.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm gonna get it started. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. All right, guys, come on in, get your stuff together. And as you can tell, my voice is, I'll probably lose it by the end of the day. Keep talking. Thank you, Kathy Ray. Yes, you're forgiven, dear. You guys are awesome for being here. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to get started. We're running a little bit late this morning. I don't like to start late, so forgive me for how I sound, but you know what? I think I brought back the KW crud with me. Allergies, I think, have just kind of snuck up on me, and now they're raising their ugly head. So we're gonna have a special treat today. We've got Aubrey Bailey coming in, our general manager. He's gonna cover stats. Nobody covers stats better than Aubrey Bailey. And he loves doing that, so that's gonna be a real treat for us. We're gonna talk a little bit about objections. What are you guys hearing from your sellers? What are you hearing from your buyers? Why are people pulling the trigger? We're gonna talk a little bit about that and what can we do to get them to, what data do we present to our buyers and sellers to help them understand now is the time, and is it the time? Aubrey, welcome. Oh my gosh. All right, you guys, when Aubrey worked in the office with every day, no kidding, almost every day we would come in and he would be wearing a shirt that was somehow, stand up, Aubrey, that would somehow, it's like we color coordinated. Thank you. So we're excited to have you guys. So now that you've gotten everything all settled in, and I know that Raven went to go check on our clicker because we have no clock up there, Aubrey. So thank you for bringing tea. Yeah. Tea, yeah, that's what it is. All right, you guys, as we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. Would we agree with that statement?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so, whoa, I'm grateful that didn't break. That's my first gratitude. I'm grateful that didn't break. All right, let's talk about gratitude because seriously, you guys, without gratitude, we have nothing. Wouldn't you agree with that, Candace? I mean, how many things in our lives can we say, I don't think there's a day that goes by that you probably don't have something that you're grateful for, right? So let me have three gratitudes this month. Marinelli, go for it, babe.
So it's a future gratitude, but it's nonetheless a gratitude. So Adam Sobel's gonna take care of my clients for the 2 weeks that we're out of it. So thank you, Adam.
You're going to Italy, right?
We are family reunion, so nice.
How big is the suitcase?
I know, right? Lots of suitcases.
Yeah, no, because I'm gonna be a contortionist. I want to be a contortionist and I'm gonna get in that suit. Hats off to Adam Sobel. How many of you appreciate Adam Sobel? Right, almost, there are so many hands that could be raised right now. All right, give me something else, something you're grateful for today. Go for it.
I'm glad Mel is back here visiting us today.
Yeah. Mel, it's so nice to see you again and visiting with us today. And you're going to get lots of great stats and stuff like that. We love that. All right, give me one more. Gratitude. What are you grateful for today? Go for it, Valerie.
Oh, yeah.
Nice, right? All right, coming at you. Let's see how well I'm going to do. Here we go. Underhanded. It's not fast pitch. Let's see, right? Woo! Okay, I'm so glad you guys came because and that you shared your gratitude because that's really what it's all about. Okay, you guys, let's go. We've got grand welcome. So I had the opportunity to meet Mark a couple of months ago. And when Mark came into the office and he was invited by Brett Teilhaber, y'all know Brett, and he's one of our wonderful commercial agents. And I was so impressed with what Grand Welcome had to offer. So first of all, thank you so much for the lunch. What an amazing lunch. Everybody give Mark some love. Come on up and just take a quick minute and tell us about Grand Welcome and what do we need to know?
Thank you, Robin. Grand Welcome offers something unique in the vacation rental management arena. We combine the national marketing. There's always been these big companies that are located in another city that are able to market properties on multiple travel platforms at the same time. But none of them have local management that is there for the personal touch. And so what Grand Welcome does through this franchising methodology of how they've grown and expanded is we're the local people in the market after every stay in one of our homes on Airbnb, VRBO, or 30 other travel platforms that we use. We go in behind maid service to make sure nothing was broken, nothing is missing. Too many companies that are like national companies doing this depend on maid service to tell them if something is wrong. And that doesn't always get communicated well. And so we feel we've latched on to a great concept. We partner with realtors in the markets that we launch. And we are able to provide realtors some unique tools to help them sell more property. One of the tools is this revenue projection, which whether or not you're showing properties to an investor or whether it's your listing and you think it might be a good vacation rental property and you would like me to perform a projection for free, and I could put your information on it so that it helps you promote the property to other agents that may have investment customers, as well as if you're having an open house and investors are walking through looking for properties, to have an extra selling tool. That's something that we enjoy offering realtors. And also we offer a commission program. If you refer us a client, you can make up to $1,500. And this is designed to be just a little something extra because the end game is really for us to do a great job for that customer so that he's coming back to you to buy a second and a third and a fourth property. Because that's what happens in vacation rental properties. You know, now that the market has slowed down with higher interest rates, you really need to look for other ways to other markets for the properties that you're working with. I want to dispel a myth real quick because a lot of people panic when they hear, oh, Airbnb next to my listing or Airbnb in my neighborhood. First of all, Airbnb and VRBO have taken out the ability to throw a party in an Airbnb. How many people knew that? Did anybody know that that's no longer possible? So what's happened is all the OTA websites, online travel websites, they report to a central database. If they get a complaint that someone threw a party, they have your driver's license number, your address, your cell phone number, your credit card number. If anything matches up, when you go to rent another property, you're done. So you've been blacklisted. So the ability to throw parties was taken out a little over a year ago. But there was an overreaction with different city councils, like in the city of Atlanta and other areas. But as far as like Roswell, Alpharetta, Woodstock, all the north suburbs, with the exception of Sandy Springs and Dunwoody, you're pretty much able to have an Airbnb as long as the proper taxes are filed and paid. And that's the other service that we offer. We take all those headaches off of the owner. We pay those taxes. We collect those taxes. So we make it really a headache-free environment. We also have an insurance program that is new, and this allows a homeowner to keep their regular homeowner's policy and just have a separate policy for the nights that it's rented on Airbnb or VRBO or whatever site. And it's at a nominal cost of like $7, $8 a night, depending on the size of the home. Really as cheap as $6 a night. And so they only have to pay for the nights rented. It gives you $1 million liability coverage. If that tenant causes a problem, starts a fire, whatever, you're covered. It also actually covers bed bugs, which no other property insurance policy covers bed bugs. So this is a really unique product to make it easy for your customers to do this. And I'd love to talk to you to see how I can help you grow your business, help you market your property.
Y'all think it might be a good idea to have him come and just do an hour class? Right, on Airbnbs and insurance and things like that. Would you be willing? to do
Yeah,
that, Mark?
I'd love
That'd be
to, yeah.
awesome. Thank you so much for a great lunch.
Thanks.
All right, I didn't know that. I don't like to talk about bed bugs. I don't like to think about bed bugs, but, that's something that was really interesting to hear about. All right, our Kathy, I don't think Tammy is in here. Our Kathy is out today. And, do we have any slides from her that she, yeah, here we go. No, sorry. Go for it. Go back to the other one. There. Okay, so, this shelter 6, I think we just saw it today.
Yeah.
Is this helpful to you guys? Do you do anything with the shelter 6? To me, this is really great because it gives you talking points with your clients. So you can reshare that on your social media. It's on Kathy's social media. So Kathy Vitale is Kathy of Tammy Mills. They are with our Vitale mortgage, shelter mortgage right next door to us. So, you know, they're always here for you. So, Kern Schwartz, Kern, come on up. I knew I'd take him up here. I knew it.
All right, I'm Kern Schwartz with the Kelly and Sorahan. This is Kevin Fano. So we are your Attorney Alliance partner. I want to talk about two things this morning. The first is my class that is coming up. Got a QR code for you. It's going to be a lunch and learn. So if you want to come, please RSVP so that I will have lunch available. I'm going to talk about legal descriptions, but I'm also going to talk about tax records, things that y'all are looking at really kind of on your realist report, right? But you're not looking at the main source. So I'm going to teach you how to navigate those websites and then how to know what you're looking at. Is it a condo? Is it a townhome? Are they joint tenants with right of survivorship? Like, what are the things that I need to kind of keep an eye on? And then what are the things that I'm going to have to call Kern about? So it's going to be a great class for all levels of agents. The second thing, timelines. Okay, I am still seeing like super quick turn closings like we were in crazy market, right? And that's fine. I mean, sometimes we have to rush a file. But let me tell you what's happening, because my pre-closer told me yesterday that a lot of the management companies, you know, used to be anything less than 5 to 10 business days was a rush. Now we're looking at 15
What?
business days. 10 to 15 business days is
Wow.
becoming the norm. Now, seller can pay a rush fee and get that letter, you know, but you need to be aware of that. So what happens when you go under contract on a Saturday, right? We're closed. But you can always email it to me. Go ahead and send it to us, right? So when you send us that contract, then we open it up. So if you go under contract on Saturday and you send it to us Tuesday morning, and then we send it to the JV who then loads it in their system too, and gets the title ordered on it, it's not even to the examiner till Wednesday. So if you're looking at a 10-day quick close
That's
under
great.
contract on Saturday, so I'm seeing a lot of that, right? Give us a heads up, because most everything that I feel like I'm opening and ordering right now is on a rush. I mean, yesterday still I was opening stuff that's closing this month. And we've got Memorial Day weekend and all that. Titles are not running really fast right now. They're not running at that same pace. Okay. So I'm always happy, and I'm always happy to move closings up too. But when you're going to do that, especially if it's a significant move up, let us know, because we structure our file so that we're going to have all that information that we need, the HOA letter and all that, so that we can send it to the lender on their timeline. But if y'all aren't telling us, hey, we're moving this closing 2 weeks up, then, you know, that's gonna move up those timelines too. So payoffs, everything takes a while. If there's an IRS payoff, heaven forbid, That's gonna be like a snail's pace. But we can get it done. We can turn it quickly. If you do have those rush files, please, please, please let us know. And as always, get those texts on the weekends. Hey, how quickly can you turn this? I'll text you back, hey, does it have HOA on it? What do you know? What are we looking at? Yeah, I think 14 days is maybe reasonable time, right? But just communicate those things with us.
Awesome. Questions? Anybody have questions?
Somebody have a question for Kevin?
No.
Thank you so much. We're gonna learn a lot from that, on that class. Thank you for that. Okay, we've got Kelly is not in the house because Kelly has long hair.
That's right.
Just
I-
saying.
Exactly.
This is- Give them some love.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, this makes sense. No wonder what she said, you go to that one, I'll go to this other agency, because she saw royalty, we're gonna have royalty here, so she gets nervous and so do I, so I'm so sorry, I'm so nervous. Happy Mimosas Day is the National Mimosa Day. And it is also, I don't know, but, 210 doesn't allow us to provide alcohol. It's a liability thing for those lawyers around. But anyway, it is also National Body Piercing Day. So be careful with your mimosa intake because you might end up at the body piercing. And it's your, whatever comes out of that. But anyway, two quick things about 210 that are important. The importance of air conditioning coverage. January 1st, 2000, the government mandates that we no longer produce Freon, which is the #1 gas used for refrigerant. Okay, that was January 1st. We moved to a different type, which is Pura, which is more environmentally friendly. So a lot of us, most of us in this room probably, and your clients do have air conditioners that work with Freon. That doesn't mean they're not good. That means the cost of Freon, because the production stopped 3 years ago. You know how it is, supply and demand. The cost is here. I'm sorry, the demand is here. And then, the demand and the costs are up here, basically. Okay, for those people that have Freon. There's no more production. The costs have gone through the roof. We may need to move to Puron. If you have an air conditioner that needs to be fixed, we may not be able to retrofit it in order to be able to take Puron. So what does that mean? That means we're gonna have to change because there's no more Freon. So you're gonna need a new equipment. We're talking about new air conditioning, HVAC, which means several thousands of dollars. So it is extremely important now more than ever to have a home warranty, but not any home warranty, but 210, because we are the only ones that still cover unlimited Freon. We still have Freon in reserve. Okay, but of course that reserve is going down. The other important thing is January of this year, the energy, the SEER, known as SEER, went up to 50. That's the minimum energy efficiency rate by the government, which means eventually people with air conditions that are 15 or less will have to upgrade. 15 or more will be working with Puron. So long story short, please make sure yourself or your own homes, if you do not have a 210 home warranty, please consider it because it could be thousands of dollars out of your pocket. Again, we have no limits or caps on Freon and on HVAC replacement. The only limit we have is the aggregate of our service agreement, which is $25,000. So if you need additional information, do not call me, call Kelly. And if you have any questions, please call Kelly. She's your account executive. But thanks so much for your support. And we're looking forward to your class. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You have a 210 home warranty on your home. Yeah. Is it worth it?
Yeah, on rental properties too. They replace AC units, refrigerators, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, same. We've had microwaves, dishwashers, air conditioners
Water
replaced.
heaters.
Yeah, that's next for us probably. So yeah. Is Michael on Zoom? So Georgia Natural Gas, you guys, this is such a tremendous savings for your clients because your discount code is KW Roswell. So how many of you actually provide a vendor list to your buyers? So, or a utility list? Do you provide a utility list? Do you know that there's a utility list on the KW Roswell training page.com that you can actually get that has your vendors, all of the utilities? Cynthia Bourgeois put that together. So GNG Natural Gas, you guys, your clients will actually save money by signing up with GNG.com, GNG Hub, and their discount code is KW Roswell. This is a great savings for your client. So if you're not providing a utility list to your buyers, please go on to kwroswelltraining.com and there's a utility list on there. Take it, use it, rip it off, duplicate it, right? So definitely do that, and gng.com, great savings. Okay, let's go, clicker, there we go. You guys, Keller offers, Keller Concierge, next week, we won't have this on there, they have been paused. So Keller offers, Keller Concierge have been paused for now. Keller Covered, Ernest, BankShot, KW Training.com, Scott Leroy Marketing, and Porch.com. These are all links that you will get when this is sent out to you. These are live links. Feel free to jump on those. And we've got a couple of classes. We've got live lead gen going on tomorrow morning and Thursday morning from 9 to 11 in the large conference room with Ann Scoggins. How many of you are enjoying the masterminds Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays? Yay. Okay, let's get on there. Let's make sure that we're sharing what we need to know. Heather Hare, let me tell you about Heather. Heather came to Atlanta from New York and did not have a database. So she had to build one. Do you know how she built her business? On open houses. Because do we do open houses to necessarily sell the house? How many of you have actually sold a house that you held open? Okay, good. How many of you, now raise your hands, how many of you have gotten buyers or sellers from doing open houses? Look around, almost all of you. So open houses, so Heather built her business and built her database from open houses. Do you know there's a strategy to holding an open house where you're actually attracting buyers and sellers? It's right here. Heather's going to give you all of that, all of the juicy details there. We've got Mastering Reels in Canva with Alexia. That's going to be tomorrow from 11 to 12 as well. And we've got Contract Boot Camp with Kathy Ray coming up on Thursday. And New Agent Boot Camp with Leah and Candace. Yay! This Friday from 9 to 11. Also, who needs Ignite? Who needs your post-license course? Raise your hand if you need your post-license course. It's coming in June. I've got one over here. We need
Two.
be Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday through June, right here. All right, Miss FJ and several other Scott and Ann Scoggins and Leah are all teaching that. So, all right, 10% Agent Mastermind with MREA. Do you wonder if you're in the top 10%? Do you know if you're in the top 10%? I'll tell you if you're in the top 10%. So Joanne Curtin is leading that mastermind on May 22nd. And Donna McClure, you met her 2 weeks ago. Donna is doing an in-person and Zoom, the art of winning listings. She is the listing queen, right? How many of you enjoyed hearing her story a couple weeks ago? I did. It was great to get to know her. All right, happy birthday. We're going to do, look at all these birthdays. Wow, all these birthdays in the month of May. We're going to do one big happy birthday. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday. Here we go. Market update. I'm liking this. Oh my goodness. I'm liking these active listings. We're all at least over the thousands. Hallelujah. Somebody give me an amen. Amen. All right. That's awesome. And what's happening today? Well, we've got 7,792 active listings. This is only within 11 counties. Those 11 counties are listed right here. These are your 11 counties. That includes attached and detached right here. 11 counties. These are the counties we all work in. I mean, do you really go all the way out to Alabama line to show properties? Some of you are like, yeah. What? So, 70 seconds. No wonder y'all are tired. Who's tired? Right? But we're gonna go a little bit deeper on these. I do want you to notice I changed this from average to median.
Yes.
You saw that, right? You like that better, Pam? Because this is, now the average ends up being 38 days on average, but the median just sounds so much nicer. We went from 1.9 down to 1.6 month of inventory. We're gonna cover that in a few minutes too. All right, so party chatter for how's the market? The market is fascinating. Why do we say that?
Why?
I mean, because who says the market's fascinating? Who says fascinating anymore?
Kathy Ray.
That to us, and she said, how about, let's say the market is fascinating, because people want to go, well, what's fascinating about the market? And you're like, well, actually, sellers are getting, we went down. We're going to cover this in a few minutes too. We actually went down, but these are your talking points. Distressed sales went down too. Interest rates around 6.67, average is 7.2. All right. Here is what we're going to be doing. Aubrey is going to be covering, we're going to go deep into stats. But here's what I want to ask you. This is going to help Aubrey and I really help you be able to process this information. Shout it out. What objections are you handling with your sellers for not putting their home on the market? So you go on a listing appointment, you've spent all the time pulling the comps, you've got your presentation down. You finally nailed them down on a date where both decision makers are there. How about that? Where both people are there that are going to make the decision. Do you do a listing appointment with just the wife there, Diana? No, why?
If she's the only one signing, that's fine. But if you have two people signing, you need all the decisions makers up there.
That's right. That's right. All the decision makers, If you've got an estate and all the kids are involved in that decision, should all the kids be there, even if some of them are on Zoom?
Yes.
Why waste your time if not all the decision makers are there? So the decision makers are there. And you've put everything together. What are you hearing that your sellers are saying why they're not pulling the trigger? You've done the assumptive close, you've done everything, but Jill, what are you hearing?
I'm hearing that there's no place to go.
Okay,
Where am I gonna go if I sell this house?
yeah, okay, good. Nicole?
I'm locked in 4.375 interest rate. I'm not gonna get that in the next house, then it's gonna be unaffordable.
Okay, good. You taking notes, Aubrey?
Mental.
$1,000 here, I can't buy anything smaller and still have money left over. I'm having to move so far out, so our prices have gone up so much, it's making affordability in the area hard.
Affordability, yeah. Okay, what else? Mortgage rates, affordability, low inventory, what else? Is that it? Lack of inventory, I'll just keep renting.
I'll just keep it and rent it out. I'm not gonna sell it. I'll make more money renting it. So if I could find something to move into, great, and I'll rent this one out, but I'm not gonna sell it.
Okay, all right, good. Anybody else? What else? Okay, what objections are you handling with your buyers who purchase now? Now you're with the buyer. How many of you have a pipeline of buyers you can't? Raise your hands. You got a pipeline of buyers you're looking for, right? So what is your most common objection for your buyers? What are you hearing? High interest rates? What else?
No homes.
No homes? What else?
Can't afford to do appraisal gap.
Can't afford to bridge an appraisal gap. Mhm. That's a biggie.
They're just disappointed in everything because they started and they didn't pull the trigger. And now everything is just like, bleh, and they don't wanna, it's not exciting. It's just drudgery.
Well, it all comes out of their motivation too.
Right.
I had some clients recently, they tell me one week, when I looked at a house, they put their house on the market the next week. And what it was that they had a like $2.89 mortgage they refinanced in 21. But they had bought 9 years ago and they got unbelievable equity out of their house. And even with the interest rate, the high, much higher interest rate, they still like maintained it through Kathy Vitale, maintained their purchase, their monthly payments. And then they paid off debt and, you know, it was the motivation for them. So you gotta really figure out what the
Dig into
motivation is.
Yeah. Because, and I think that's the truth, right? I mean, if we took it and put it into any other context, let's take it out of real estate. You go to the doctor says, well, you're about 20 pounds overweight. Insulin levels are a little bit too high. Don't really like to see that. Cholesterol is a little off the charts, but you know what? You feel great. You feel like you look great. What motivation is there to do anything except what happens when you have a little mini stroke or you have a heart attack? Is the motivation different now? It's different, right? It's different now. So find that motivation. We're going to cover these. We're going to talk a little bit about that because what we have found is that when we can put somebody at ease about the uncertainty that they're feeling, high interest rates, low inventory, when we can put them at ease with data, now do we have a better chance at helping them come to a good conclusion that fits them? Yeah, I mean, makes sense, right? All right, so mortgage rate projections. What are you hearing? You're hearing from the news that, oh my gosh, we're heading for a recession, okay? You're hearing nothing but fear. This is what Fannie Mae, Mortgage Bankers Association, National Association of Realtors are saying and what the projections are. They are projecting by Q3, we're at 5.93, 5.67. And by the end of the year, next year, 5.5, just under 5.5, and a little, just 5 3/8. I don't see 4% on here, do you? You think we're gonna get 4% anymore? Shannon, I don't think so. I don't think so. We might. So this is the reality. Do your sellers and buyers understand that this is the reality? Do they think it's gonna be 10%, 12%, 14%? This is what the experts are saying. What is the cost of waiting? The cost of waiting, Nicole, Greta, the cost of waiting here, if we were to wait to go from 6.5 to 7 to 6.75 to 7%, you guys, that's about a $66 a month difference. If you have somebody, a first-time home buyer buying a $400,000 house, because that's what first-time home buyers are right now, right? It's going to cost them an extra $66 or $67 to wait. Conversely, what if you tell them that this is where it's going to be going? Now, how much will they have? Now, how much can they say? That's great. What will the prices be, Aubrey? Are they going to go down or are the prices going to continue to rise? They're probably going to continue to rise. Knowledge is power. Wouldn't you agree? All right. Questions on this? How do you use this? So how would you use that with a buyer, Nicole? Because it was short.
Especially the first time home buyers is $60. You know, you could not qualify for that for a house. So you have a dog, you want a yard. We could get you a house with a yard, but if you wait longer, you might get a townhome.
Yeah.
You
And,
know, I mean, what else can I say?
right, can I get you to a lender immediately so we can talk about, is there something you could pay down that might bridge that gap? Get them to the lender, right? Get them to that lender. All right.
But what I need to understand too in this market is, like, when I first moved here, I wanted to live in Sandy Springs and Buckhead, but I didn't have the money. All day long, I couldn't afford it. So where did I move to? I moved to Alpharetta. So maybe they have to move a little
You
farther.
moved to stinky old Alpharetta.
Yeah, but, you know, so that's too, it's just understanding.
Have to drive until they qualify.
Drive to the qualified. How many of you have driven till they qualified? I've driven to places, I didn't even know where I was. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can get it. I don't think I can find my way home without a GPS. All right, now here's what we're gonna do. How many of you love chart masters? How many of you get a little overwhelmed by all the data? Right? And so it's really great when you can have somebody kind of just still and condense and explain and really bring the right context. And actually, nobody can do that better than Aubrey. And I'm so glad that you are, that I am going to old voice and give it over to Aubrey. Aubrey, I give you these amazing people. Everybody, let's give it up for Aubrey.
I love being here. I'm excited to be here today. Man, they built me up really high. Anybody that doesn't know me, like the bar is up here. Write this down. And you guys that know me have heard this before. Education without implementation is what? Entertainment. You guys didn't set aside an hour and a half of your morning this morning to be entertained. We're gonna have fun. Robin makes it fun, doesn't she? Right? You came here to find something that's gonna drive you forward in your life and in your business and your future. So I'm gonna share a few things with you today. And before we jump into stats, I want to help you. I want to give you some ideas. So this is what went through my mind. There's a guy named Ryan Holiday who wrote a bunch of books about the Stoics, right? And he said something recently that struck a chord with me. He said, the obstacle is the way. The obstacle is the way. So when we were mentioning objection handlers, like, oh, the interest rates are too high, or there isn't enough inventory, we can look at that as an obstacle that's going to get in the way of our success, or we can look at it as the thing that's going to create our success. So let me give you an example. Okay, we'll start with the first guy that was here this morning. This is where my mind went to. What was he talking about? The guy that brought our food. What does he do? Short-term rentals, right? Okay, so if I were to create inventory this afternoon by people that I knew would make a decision quickly, what would I do with that information? I say, well, what if I went on to Airbnb, found the addresses of all the people that own Airbnbs? I then go on to Realist, I can get their name. I then go on to Forewarn, which a lot of you have access to. I now have their phone number, right? Okay, what do I do with that? Well, if they own a rental property, let's say in Alpharetta, and the rental rate, their return on investment would be better in, let's say, Kennesaw or Ackworth or Cumming, right? I would reach out to them and say, hey, I believe you own a few Airbnbs, is that right? And they say, yeah, I do. I say, listen, if I found one that gave you a better return on investment, would you be interested in 1031 exchanging that into one that would cash flow you more money every single month? If I'm an investor, what would I say to that? Yes, of course. Okay. How would you do that? You would then look what has a better return on, like, what do they buy it for? What do they put down? What does it rent for? What gives them a better return? Now they can literally 1031 exchange it, paying no taxes into another property, and you just created 2 sales. Do you see what I mean?
Mic drop.
I know, right?
There is opportunity in every difficulty. The obstacle is the way. So that's one idea. Okay, another idea. Interest rates are too high. Interest rates are too high. This is something I shared probably 6 months ago. You can go into the MLS right now. You can run a search for homes that sold over the past 3 years. Okay, actually, I would do a little different. I would go ones that sold between 4 years ago and 1 year ago. Okay, so they've been in the house for at least a year, but not more than maybe 4 years. Okay, then at the bottom of FMLS, when you hit the results, you can click a thing that says additional fields. Who knows what I'm talking about? Additional fields. It's down at the bottom. Click on additional fields and add the word terms. I hope you guys are writing this down. Every single one of these ideas will get you business this afternoon if you want it. Okay, so click on terms. When you click on terms, you add that field and you go back to your search box. Now, when you scroll down to properties that sold, let's say Roswell, between a year and 4 years ago, you select terms. Which terms do you select? There's now a drop-down box. Pick assumable, pick FHA, okay? Pick assumable, pick FHA, and pick VA. Why?
They are assumable.
They're assumable loans that probably have an interest rate, if it was more than a year ago, probably in the 3s or 4s, okay? Now, what can you do? You have this list of properties that sold 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. You can reach out to those sellers in a compliant, what is it,
TCPA.
Yes, way, yes. Right, or maybe go send them a handwritten note, or go pop by when you're driving home, right?
Better.
Okay, so you may knock on the door and say, hey, look, crazy idea, I'm with Keller Williams Realty. You have something that a lot of other people don't have, and something buyers would probably be willing to pay a premium for. I don't know if you guys were thinking about moving, but I might have a solution for you that you might really be interested in. Can I tell you what it is? I'd be like, what? Like, you have something called an assumable mortgage. And the biggest challenge that a lot of people are having right now is their interest rates are too high. A lot of people don't know that they have an assumable mortgage. So what can happen is somebody can actually pay you a premium for your house potentially, and then you could go move to the house that you may or may not want. And they may say, well, I'm worried about finding a property. I'm worried about losing my interest rate. You can say, well, you know what? I could do the same thing for you. I could go, where do you want to, if you were to move, where would you move? They say, well, I want to get a little bit bigger house. I want to live, wherever. They pick a neighborhood or an area. You say, let me go see what I can find that might also have an assumable mortgage there. I don't have the screen to show you. There are thousands in Roswell right now, and it's not the $300,000 homes. There are homes that sold for $1 million that are assumable. Does that make sense? Nicole?
Now, would you use that same scenario and maybe find an owner finance too for that person?
Absolutely could. Yeah, for all of the above. Yeah. And if you have buyers right now that you're having trouble finding a property for them, this is how you could find a home for them. Go find an assumable mortgage. That sellers would be like, yeah, I'd love to move, but I'm worried about my interest rate. Yeah, great. Let me go find you one that has a low interest rate. The obstacle is the way you become this person. Think about the chatter. I'll come to you, Greta. Think about the chatter that happens when they're sitting at a dinner with some friends or a party. And they're like, oh yeah, we're under contract to buy a home. And their friends are talking, oh, where'd you find it? We found one off market in this neighborhood. How'd you find that? Our realtor found us. And even better, they got us a 3.5% interest rate. What do you think that person's gonna say?
Give me that name.
Who's your realtor? Like, oh my goodness. And now you become known as this person that has something that they can't find in Zillow, right? Unique value proposition. Okay, Greta.
Like, oh, I'll go find you one. They're gonna say, but why not have to pay a premium for that to get that assumable loan?
Okay, here's the answer to that. Here's the answer to that.
I'm not understanding
Yeah.
your question. I understand your question.
So he said, I got someone that'll pay a premium for your house. Where am I gonna go? I'll find you one too. So when I go to find him one, and they're gonna have to pay a premium for that house, where am I gonna go?
But then
Where should I go?
you
You're gonna
eliminated
get all
commodity.
that.
You eliminated a commodity. Now you're the sought after agent because you are the one that knows how to do that, where the other agents couldn't. Now you're sought after.
Yeah, but she's asking what. she's
Okay.
asking about the objection.
The question is, what would that premium be? Let's say it's 5,000 or 10,000, it still has to appraise. What is $10,000 premium? Let's say that was the extra that somebody want to make them okay to move, right? How much is that on a monthly payment? Okay, and how much are they saving if they're getting a 3.5% interest rate worth versus a 6% interest rate? A lot more than $5, $10, $15, $20 a month. You see, it more than offsets that payment. See what I mean? Here's the other key to this, Greta, and everybody else is thinking this. Find the motivated, 4 Ds. So here's the other thing you can do. 4 Ds are diapers, diamonds, death and divorce.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily, right? But those are most scenarios at some point will trigger a move, right? So maybe that could be your list. Okay, which ones of these might have an assumable mortgage? Now you can go to them. They are very motivated to move. Most agents that I talk with are like, how can I convince this seller to make a move or this buyer to make a move? The reality is you can't. No agent has ever convinced someone to buy a home. It's too long and drawn out of a process. People buy a home because they have a reason. They are motivated to move. Does that make sense? Yes, Sam.
2 more.
Yeah.
Diplomas.
Oh, okay,
and
diplomas, yeah.
deployment for the updates.
Diplomas, and what was the other one?
Deployment.
Deployment.
You say the other 3.
Yes, so diapers, babies, diamonds, they're getting married. Sound familiar, Markia? Death, right? Unfortunately
He
happened.
can't read his own writing. I'm just letting y'all know.
Divorce, diplomas, and deployment. They're motivated. They need to make a move. And that's how you solve their problem, right? Okay.
The other thing is that to ask that person is that, do you regret not taking advantage of the 2.5% interest rate? Well, yeah, if I could go back, well, this is a way to go back. This is a way to go back in time and get that. This is the way to do that.
And you're solving the issue for no inventory as well, because you're finding off-market deals to do this with. Make sense? Do you guys get at least a couple ideas, right? If you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. Yes, you will have challenges in this. Yes, you will. You know what? Talk to more people, right? And you will get around those problems. Make sense? Take action. Take action. Okay, all right. We're gonna move forward to numbers now. Is that good? Okay, all right, good. Give a quick- Okay, so, let's talk through this. I'll put all the slides in there for us, Raven, so we don't have to go to the website. All right, so active listing. I'm gonna go through some of this. I won't go through all of this. A lot of people taken out of context, yes. Yeah,
Can you go through it, like, as if we are you, would it be in your mind?
yeah, sure, absolutely.
You could actually say, okay, Aubrey would say this and this, because I mean, I'm serious, you're brilliant at it. But when I look at it sometimes, I'm not getting extrapolating the same stuff that you're saying.
If I'm talking to my best friend about anything, what's going on in the market, here's the conversation I would have with him. So you're my best friend today, Nicole. We're gonna have a conversation. Good? Okay. All right. So Nicole, you might ask me, what's going on in the market right now? You said the market's fascinating. I'd ask a question. I'd say, I'm curious, what business is the news in?
Fear.
Sensationalism.
All those are right. They're in the business of getting eyeballs. How do they do it? Fear, sensationalism, right? All that, right? So you're probably going to see things in the media that are confusing, that can be scary, right? And what I want you to do is say, what are the real numbers? What's really happening? So what I do is I say, all right, let's look at this one first. April 2023. If we look at just this time last year, we were still in a crazy market. That was right when things started to peak with their craziness before they started changing a little bit, right? But what we want to do is roll back to a more normal market. So I'd say, Nicole, let's look at what does a normal market look like? 2019, honestly, wasn't even a normal market anyway. That was still a crazy market before even the pandemic happened. 2016 getting close to a more normal market. Okay, so somebody may say, oh, well, there's only 5,000 homes, 5,700 that are going under contract right now. We only have 5,448 to choose from. More are going under contract than what are available to choose from right now. Okay, what happens? Supply and demand economics, Nicole?
Price goes up.
Prices go up. That's simple economics, right? And if we look at this proportionally, now look down here, 3,300 of them are selling, 3,300 are selling out of those. So it's more than half of them are selling. Let's look back a few years ago. A third of them were selling. We're in a hotter market right now, just looking at those three stats. Do you see that?
Yes.
Right? Again, supply and demand, what happens? Okay, we don't have enough demand. That's why this is happening. So we only have 1.6 months of inventory. Make sense? And back here, we had 2.8, we had 3 months. The reason I see those aren't even necessarily balanced markets. How many months of inventory is a balanced market? Okay, exactly, 5 or 6. So if you are not a realtor and somebody says months of inventory, what's a 1-sentence way to explain that?
If you were to sell every home currently on the market today, we would everything would be gone. No new listings come in. Everything would be gone within 1.6 months.
Exactly. That's the quickest way to say that. It's not enough inventory to meet demand. Okay, prices, 435. Again, comparing this to what they were a few years ago, it's because of the low demand has caused the prices to go up. Okay. However, if we had a bunch of months in the market, 6, 7, 8 months in the market, I'd probably be a little bit concerned about where prices are going to go. We don't have that right now. They stopped building houses for years. Do people stop having babies? Do people stop moving to Atlanta? We are in a shortage of inventory, right? Okay, so I say, oh, and some people say, well, Aubrey, what about distressed properties? I hear, credit card debt's up and delinquencies and things like that. 0.5. Even back here, 1%. This is more normal. Somewhere in the 5 to 10% range is kind of normal for distressed properties. Way too low on distressed properties right now. It's just, there's so much equity in these homes that even if someone had to sell, again, that's I don't know where we put debt. Okay, there's another one, debt, right? So we'll put that in. They bought off more than they can chew. They can't pay their credit cards and they have to sell their home. Well, good news, they've got the money. The $435,000 median sales price, they've got capital in that home. They have to sell, they can, right? Okay, so what is this doing here? 98.7, so only 20 days in the market, 98.7% of the asking price is what it's going for. Okay, raise your hand if you've had a home, and there's a lot of them happening right now, that have sold above 100% lately. Look around the room, it's happening. The market is on fire right now, and it isn't even necessarily showing up here. This number was lower. It did drop down to 96 point something 2 months ago. What's happening now? Because of the demand, because of less inventory, now buyers are having less negotiating power again. I know, again, I feel bad for the buyers. I really do, right? It's hard right now, okay? Failed listings, only 20% of them are failing. That is a lower number than 2019, a lower number than 2016. What was that number in January? You guys remember?
For failed listings?
Over a third.
43% in January, right? That, for that moment, I was like, things better get a little better, you know, I'm worried in January. But every single month, this number's gotten better and better and better. The market's looking strong. Do you see how on this slide alone, you can paint a picture of this is a strong market for who? For a seller, right? Okay, so, will you look that up? Thank you. Okay, all right, this one can be so confusing. Like I look at this, it'll make my eyes cross, okay? What would I recommend you do? Look at the bottom line down here. I know it's hard to read, but here's what this is telling us. If you price it right, no price reduction, median sales price to list price is what? 100%. We price it right, it is on median selling, which is better than average, selling at 100%. How many days is it taking to do that in? 8 days. So if we price it right, it will likely go in 8 days for 100% of list price. If we don't get offers and get it under contract in 8 days, what percent is it likely gonna sell for? 92%. Okay, and it's gonna take 104 days. So guys, think about this. You're with the seller. Home's been on the market 3 weeks. It hasn't sold. Let's say that home is a $500,000 to $600,000 property. It's been on the market more than 7 days. In this scenario, it's actually 7 days. It will likely sell for 93.9%. That is 6% off of the list price. What is 6% off of $500,000?
30,000.
30,000. Will a $5,000 staking adjustment get that home sold? No, don't make those small adjustments. Now, would I adjust down 30 grand, that first adjustment? No, right? I might do 15 or 20 or somewhere in that range, right? See what happens there and then maybe make one more adjustment. But a $5,000 adjustment, $2,000 adjustment, $7,000 adjustment, probably not gonna do it. Why? The numbers show it, and show this to your seller. Show them that, hey, if this is what's going to happen if we don't get under contract in 7 days.
You know, something else to ask them as well is what are your carrying costs?
Mm-hmm.
Your mortgage, your utilities, your insurance and everything, are your carrying costs on a $400,000, $500,000 home, $6,000 a month? If it's $6,000 a month with utilities and your mortgage payment and everything else, now by 3 months, now you lost $18,000 plus your $15,000 if you don't price it right. It's a lot of money you're leaving on the table.
And they may be saying, well, yeah, but that's paying down my debt. Have you looked at the way mortgages are amortized? They're front end loaded. These banks are smart. The majority of it goes to interest the first 10 years of your loan, and almost all of it goes to principal the last 5 or 10 years of your loan. You see what I mean? Because they know people are going to move every 5 to 10 years. They want to make the most money they can. Does that make sense? They legitimately are throwing out money doing that. Absolutely. Okay, so here's what I recommend doing. People will sit with you and they'll say, but I really want to price it at this price. If you show them all the stats in the world, you can't get them to price it where they really need to price it to get it sold. You have a choice to make. Do you want to take the listing? Again, if they're motivated enough, they should be listening to you, right? You still have a choice. Do I want to take the listing? Knowing that they're going to be complaining all the time. Why is my home under contract? What are you doing this week for me to get my home sold? When you know it isn't priced right. So at that listing appointment, if I was to take an overpriced listing, here's what I put in the stipulations. Seller agrees that if we get to 14 days and we're not under contract, the price will be adjusted to blank, and you fill in that blank now. That way, when you get to 14 days, you don't have to ask them. You don't have to get their signature again. You just make the stinking adjustment and then inform them. You know what I mean? There you go. Yeah.
Three times as
Should be like at day 14, at day 21, at day 28, or whatever it is. I'd pick random days. I wouldn't do it because then if a smart agent could look and say, okay, they've been adjusting every 7 days. Let's give it a couple more days. Like you might want to pick like odd days to do it, you know, like day 9 and day 16 and day 27, you know, that way it's not real obvious. Yeah. That make sense? That's another tip. That's an action item you could do in your listing agreements to still get the listing. Make sense?
And if they don't sign,
yeah.
Good, because it's gonna be a lousy, it's gonna be a lousy listing period.
It is. There was something that we said last month. I think it was in the conversation with you as my client today, Nicole. If they are interviewing other agents, and that other agent is willing to list the price higher than you are, then I would say to that person, I'd say, listen, I know you got a tough decision to make, and it sounds like you're leaning towards that other person. And I'd even offer to them, hey, let's adjust it at this, you know, on this date. They said, no, I think we're gonna go with that other agent because they're willing to list higher. I say, okay, your goal is to sell the house, not list it, right? Okay, and this other agent's promising you that they're gonna be able to get you somewhere close to this much higher list price, higher than the comp support, right? Okay, make them put their money where their mouth is and put in that special stipulations in that contract that if this listing agent asks you to reduce your price, that you're allowed to terminate your agreement and see if they'll still list the property. That would get them to think twice, because they're going back to that agent will be like, I don't want to put that in there. And then they're gonna come back to you and say, yeah, they didn't want to put it in there. See, they were trying to win your listing and knew it wouldn't sell. I'm gonna sell your house. They're just gonna list it. See the difference? Another tip that you could use, okay? Okay, all right, let's go to the next one. Here we go. All right, so this is a great one to look at. Closing at 100% or more. So this shows it by price range. So at the 500 to 749, there's been 772 closings last month that sold at or above 100% of the list price.
Original list.
Yeah, median, yeah, there we go. So, let's see, median sales price for closings, okay, what is this saying? Median sales price for original list price for closings with a sales price for original list price. Okay, if it sold for over 100%, how much over 100% did it sell for? In this example, 100 million.
But
So
then
if
it's
it sell-
come down.
What's that? It has. Yeah, it has. The market is still on fire for sellers. The market's moving and we just gotta watch it. It's hard to take 1 month out of context. You have to look at a series of months, like a hypothesis. If they're in science, if they're saying, I have this thought that this is happening, do they just test it with one person? They can't. They test it with multiple over a course of time. Same thing here in the market. So, okay, all right. Here's the one that the news media would go crazy with. So Nicole, you're my friend again that we're having a conversation about. And you're like, hey, I'm like, Nicole, this is the fear-based stuff that the media is gonna put out there. There are 26.9% more homes for sale, yet 24.8% less are going under contract, and there's a 30% drop in homes that are selling. Yeah, that's true, right? Compared to last year, which was a crazy market. That was the absolute peak of craziness was April last year. Like that was absolutely insane. And right now, we are still at such a significant shortage of inventory at 1.6 months. We need more homes. We need more homes. There was only 0.9 months of inventory last year. Of course it was better. What's the law of economics? Supply and demand. There was not enough supply, almost half the supply last year as there was this year. And this is a crazy low number. Do you guys see it? Yeah. Okay. Median days on market, the media say 150% higher. Yeah, it's still 20 days. Less than 3 weeks. That's crazy low. You should not be able to stick a sign in your yard and get it sold in 20 days. Or actually, if you price it right, get it sold in 7. That's still crazy low. Yes, Greta.
What would you call like a historically?
Great question.
normal?
Yeah, Greta, so great question. So let's go back to like 2015, 2016, somewhere around there. Days on market, we used to take 6 months listings, right? That's what it was, 6 month listing. 120 to 6 months was pretty normal, right? And it'd take 45, 60 days, to get under contract and sold. That's pretty normal. If you did it in less than a month, you're doing really good. It's usually 45 days. Yeah, was more, and now where they're still. Right. And were there homes, even in 2010, 11, were there homes that sold in 6 days with multiple offers? Absolutely. Just not as big as a percentage we see right now, right? So, make sense? Okay, so this is the one I would show them. If I was gonna show them one quick one to say, all right, visually, let's just look at this and see which way we're heading, this would be a great one to show. And I would say, let's just focus on the trend line, this one right here. Actives, are they getting bigger or smaller? Smaller, okay, supply and demand, where that obviously probably gonna cause the prices go up. Well, let's see what's happening. The pending ratio, we got less homes to choose from. Is the pending going down or up? More going up, okay, pending ratio going up. Number of sold is from 3 months. Remember that scary month I said 4 months ago, January, scary for a second there? Since January going up. Distressed sales going down. Number of failed listings going down. Unfortunately, supply is going down too. That's why prices are being driven up. Do you see it? This is a really quick one. That took 30 seconds. You could show them that and they would be able to see it. Yes.
What happened in January?
Great question. A lot of fear, probably because of the rising interest rates, and then people just said, you know what, doesn't look like interest rates are gonna change, I gotta move, so I might as well just do it. That's my hunch. But yeah, nothing significant happened in January, you know, it's just seasonality probably is part of it, you know? And then I think a lot of the rates cause a lot. Interest rates make a big
I'm
impact.
just wondering what the market's gonna.
Yeah, what's gonna happen with the market? Yeah.
What do you do with the buyer seller says, I'm gonna wait for the election, you know, because people, because the trend is when elections come, people hold off. And then they buy after they find out what's going on.
Well, if I'm a buyer, I definitely don't wanna have more competition right afterwards, right? If I'm a seller, then I'll say, what's our motivation? Do we need to move now? Is it worth it to wait till after the election for you, or is it more important for you to get your kids in the right school district this year?
I take them right back to that mortgage rate and what MBA is saying, what interest rates are gonna be. That has nothing to do with elections.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, another good point. Okay, we're in a seller's market up until $2 million. And then it goes into a buyer's market above 2 million and above 3 million. That's why this is happening. Okay? Okay, here's another good question. What's gonna happen with prices? Here's another good sheet that you guys can show. This is an article, it came from the US Census Bureau. Okay, so this isn't like some biased news media source, it's the US Census Bureau. Okay, as accurate as you can get. When you guys get this PDF, it has a link that you can click on for the full article, and you can actually take your mouse and drag it across. Here's what's happened. Out of every one of these gray lines, only one of them, shortly after what was labeled as a recession. Buyers say, what's gonna happen if we go into recession to home prices? That's their fear. What's gonna happen? Am I gonna lose money on this house? Show them this. Because if you look at this recession, you can scroll your graph over, it shows the starting price, and then right afterwards, prices are actually higher. It shows 1974, starting price during the recession, the gray bar represents a recession. Right after, prices were higher. Every single one of these prices were higher either right at the end of the recession or right afterwards, except for which one?
2008.
2008 was the only one where it took it, up until, 2014, 15 for prices to get back to, where they should have been anyway, even where they bought it. That's the only one. And this market is very different than 2008. Why?
Because lending institutions got better with the credit, they did that.
Lending's different. What about inventory? What was inventory in 2008?
That's
They were building full neighborhoods, right? And we should have seen that coming, right? This one's completely different. So the economics actually look really good right now. They didn't back then, right?
Well,
Does that
and
make
that
sense?
housing and the recession was caused by the crash,
Right.
not the other way around. That's something you have to remember. The housing crash caused that recession.
Housing is really carrying us through.
It is.
Housing is staying really strong right
It
now.
is.
So I just want you to see that recessions typically last less than a year. And in every single recession, either right at the end of it or right afterwards, the price is higher anyway. So if buyers are like, oh, I don't want to buy right now, where I'll lose money in the home. Are they looking to move in the next 12 months? No, then it doesn't matter. You see what I mean? In fact, buy the house now and get it. And if you're worried about interest rate, get a lower interest rate later. Okay, so that's a great article. Here's another one. I won't go through all of this, but this is a great article on that because Fed's talking about, decreases in home prices. What's going on with the home prices? Here's what it's saying. Hey, Schiller, FHFA, CoreLogic, all this, it shows where the prices were. They dipped for a little bit and they're going back up again right now. I won't read this. You guys can read later. You can go through this. This will be sent out a little bit later. This is a great thing to have in your pocket, ready to go, on your phone or whatever else, where you can show this. So bottom line, if you put off your plans to move because you're worried about home prices falling, data shows the worst is already behind us and prices are actually rising nationally. Partner with a local real estate professional, so you have an expert to explain what's happening in your area. Is there a chance it could dip for a second? Yeah, 1%, 2%, but shortly after recession, it's back higher where it needed to be. Make a move. Find the motivated. If they need to move, make that move. Make sense? Okay. That helpful?
Valerie, I put on the spot. You came into my office earlier. And you said you had a great week. And you and I talked about a strategy for somebody who said, I think I'm just gonna wait. And before I buy. What did we talk about? You want to share that?
We did. We talked about someone who had that same issue. Not finding the house that you want. Everything that you guys just said, she had that same convention too. Not finding the house, the interest rates are high. I think it's very valuable that now I can go in and look at all the consumables now. And even picture, so. Yeah, so this was very valuable.
We have agents in this office that I can't remember who they are, but they've done assumable mortgages here in the past 6 months. Like that's happening right now. So yeah, go out there and find them. Okay. Thank you. Good. Yes, thank you.
Wordsmith and the objection master. All right, let's talk about this. Let's digest this a little bit. Let's like really dive into this. What are your greatest struggles right now? Think of an agent. Let's talk about it. Give us some stuff that we can work through. Go for it, Sharon. No, sorry, Joy.
Oh.
Joy, go for it.
Ask, when you're talking to, say, sellers versus buyers, is that any particular one that you would say, hey, if you're talking to sellers, you really need to present this? If you're talking to buyers, this would be a good talking.
Absolutely, great question. And if you're talking with sellers, I would show them the chart in the area. There's one that shows prices have slipped a little bit recently. And I would say, hey, nobody has a crystal ball. The market's telling us that it's going to stay strong. Yet if we all knew exactly what was going to happen in the market, we'd all be sitting on our private yachts, drinking a Mai Tai in Maui, right? Okay, however, here's what we do know. Prices have slipped a little bit. If you're looking to maximize what you need out of your home, now might be a really good time. I'd show them that. If I'm talking to a buyer, I'd use the opposite. I'd show them this chart. I'd say it's nobody has a crystal ball. Yes, prices did slip just a little bit for a second, right? However, it's looking like they're going to go back up. Do you see what I mean? And we really don't know exactly what's going to happen. Both of those statements are 100% true.
And what's really great, Joy, is when you can take, did you notice that Aubrey said, which direction is this going? When you can ask them, which direction is this going? Now they're telling you what they're seeing. They're owning it now. You're not telling them, you're asking them and they're disclosing what it is, right? What else?
Interest rates are so high, I'm waiting for them to go back down to 3%. I would see that.
I would love interest rates to be back at 3%, right? Yeah, Greta's got it. Go ahead, Greta.
The interest rate right now is the best one you're ever gonna get, because you can always recast or refi and improve it. If you wait, I promise you, there's always a chance it could get worse.
Boom. Boom. What else?
Beautiful said.
All right, what else? What's your greatest struggle? You've got a client right now that is the bane of your existence. You're like, man, what can I do with this client? Who is it? Tell us about it. Or you guys all have perfect clients right now.
Just cut the cord.
I've done it. Raise your hand if you fired a client before. How does that feel? Okay, raise your hand if you've ever been tied, if you've ever been in a job or you had a boss you did not like. Been there too, right? Here, it wasn't. So here's the good news. You're a 1099 independent contractor. If you don't like working with somebody, get rid of them, right? You can do that tactfully. You could call them and you say, look, I care about you, and I care about you getting the help you need. And right now, I think there's somebody, a great person, I'm really good friends with in my office, who has the time that you really need to really devote to you to help you. And I'd love to hand you off this person so they can take great care of you, right?
Go for it, Shannon.
I did that to my mother.
To work with our mother.
And then you get a referral fee. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Where's the referral? Sorry.
To your point though, like, save yourself the headache of having to fire a client, spend more time getting to the motivation ahead of time, and then you save yourself.
That's
that
so
headache.
good.
You have this little birdie sitting on your shoulder saying, don't do it. Listen to it, right? That client is not worth your time, your lack of sleep, the stress it puts on you and your family. Go spend that time that you would have spent dealing with them to find another kind-hearted, nice client that really appreciates your services.
You don't want your kid in the back of the car after you hang up to say, well, mommy, I've never heard you talk to somebody like that. Just hire them now, right?
Okay.
What else?
Yep.
The ones that really can afford one, so.
One more time.
Yeah.
One more year. One more year. One more year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can go a couple, that's a great question. You go a couple directions with that. One of them would be, I find out why they're waiting to rent. Some of them may not be ready, willing, and able. They might not have down payment. Did you know there's over 15 down payment assistance programs in Georgia right now? Find out what those are. Talk to them about them. I've helped probably 30, 40 people with down payment assistance get into homes. Now, a lot of them talked to me because of down payment assistance, but didn't end up needing it. They got a gift from a family member, or didn't qualify for the down payment assistance or whatever else. But I would go to the cost of waiting. You know, prices on average go up 5% per year. They've gone up a lot more than that, you know, over the past few years. If you're looking at a $400,000 house, that means they're probably gonna, we don't know, but that could be another $20,000, $30,000 by waiting, right? Or you could buy now. Yes, the interest rates are a little high, and then when they do come down, to Greta's point, refinance it. Do a zero cost refinance. Get the best of both worlds. You get the price that you can get right now is the best one you're gonna get for right now, and you get a lower interest rate whenever they drop.
You know, oftentimes too, the renters, they're afraid of something. And they're afraid of usually they're afraid of what they don't know. And a lot of times they don't understand that there are down payment assistance programs, but in FHA, what is it? 3.5% down. And when you're looking at a $300,000 mortgage, that's $10,500 down payment. So when you can sort of start talking to them, going, how much do you have in your 401k? How much do you have in, you know, do you have a gift? Do you want to do down? So it's when you can dispel that fear by saying, you don't have to have 20% down, because have you guys found that most people think they need that? Oh, I don't have 20% down. You don't have to. You don't have to have 20% down. So a lot of it is just fear of the unknown. Okay.
Marquia had a question.
Marquia.
So I run into a lot of first-time home buyers. I have some people that's approved already. House broke, meaning using all their savings that they've been working since college for to dump into a home, and then they can't maintain the lifestyle that they have. And so then you go into consideration of the different areas that they want to be in order not to go over a certain budgeted amount in order for them to maintain the lifestyle.
Yeah, that's the right approach to take is the one that's right for that person. We don't need to be chasing a commission check because we need a sale. We need to be chasing earning the right to have that client for life. And that means, like, look, you know, Marquia, whether you're going to buy now, next year, or 5 years from now, I'm going to be here for you. I want you to make the right decisions right for you and where you're at. Let's look at the numbers. Let's see where things are at. Let's make the right choice based on that. Okay. Cool. Okay.
Anything else? Let's give this guy a grade. All right, we've got a couple of celebrations that we need to do, and there I am. There we go. Okay, this is a big deal. This is a really big deal. Rana, Jill, please stand up. You guys, these ladies were in the Atlantic for being in the top 20 producers in our luxury market. Peggy, Joanne, Jill, Rana, well done. All right, awards because you guys have earned them. And I just want to say, well done, individuals, closed units for April. Westland, Susan, Sean, Dee, Tatum, Adam, Raina, Carrie, Lydia, Ashley, Jim, Jerry, Vicky, Sarah, Pamela, Kim Williams, everybody give one big round. So the team, how many are in a team? That's right. So Team Schulte, Hernandez, Weatherby, Dalchero, Atlanta Realty Team, Great Door Group, and the Kings. Well done. For groups, the Curtin Team, Southern Equity Commercial Sales, Atlanta Property Matchmakers, and Atlanta Property Professionals. Well done. Listings taken units. You guys wait till you hear what we have in store for you in June or July around listings. We're gonna have a contest. I'm gonna give you the details next Tuesday. It's gonna be fun. So your names will be up here because you're gonna want some of those things. Individuals, Jim, Kim, Jake, Peggy, Mary Claire, Barbara, Tatum, well done. Woo! Units, Hernandez Group, Gray Door with the team. And groups, Curtain Team, Atlanta Property Matchmakers, Atlanta Property Professionals, well done, you guys. Woo! Hard work with listing inventory, right? Low inventory, that's a lot of hard work. So well done. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. How about that one? It is the courage to continue that counts. I think Winston Churchill was pretty qualified to say that, wouldn't you? All right, you guys, thank you for being here. Have a great week. We will see you. If you want to stay for open houses, stay. Heather's going to be here. It's going to be amazing. We'll see y'all later.